Hello, I'm Alan Koenigsberg with Agile Search Marketing, the founder and CEO, and I have Dina Hanna here. She's Agile's marketing manager. And today, our topic is content marketing. And this is going to be actually posted on our blog as both a video and as with some supporting content. We encourage you to visit that and spread this video and the blog post to people that you know that might benefit from some great information and a couple of tips that we're going to give you today. So this is a short presentation and video that we're doing on content marketing. And we want to touch on the topic and in the future, additional topics that are of interest to you, our clients, those who might be interested in working with Agile, and partners as well, to keep you up to date. It's part of our mission at Agile to keep you up to date on what's happening in the world of search engine marketing and the world of digital marketing, the larger world. And this is part of that fulfillment of our mission. So I'm going to go ahead and ask a few questions of Dina. We're going to dialogue together, and we welcome your questions and your input as well via the blog and via the contact page that we have on there, where you can ask us questions and even request a complimentary consultation with us as well if you're not already a client. So, in the news has been the subject of content marketing, and an article came out recently. And the title of the article was rather thought-provoking for both of us. And it was on whether content marketing is dead or not. With the advent of change, well, not the advent, but with changes that have been happening at Google with their algorithm, some have been saying that content's not as important as it used to be. And it was widely publicized a couple years ago that content is king. And so we want to talk about that today. So, welcome, Dina. I have a couple questions for you. First of all, let's talk about the importance of generating new content. So if you can answer the question, and we can talk about it, just how important is generating new content now in light of recent developments, and tell us about what your thoughts are on how frequently it's important to disseminate new content, because we get asked that a lot. You know, how often should I be blogging? How often should I be generating press releases and so on? So I know it's a prescient question that a lot of people are asking. So let's just dive into that.
Sure. So I think that content marketing is definitely important. Generating new content shows that you are a subject matter expert, and you can be doing that in a bunch of different ways, whether it be blogging, video, photography. Just the fact that you took time to put information into a digestible form for the consumers is one of a bunch of things you can be doing for them. And so the fact that you are there and telling them this information, you're kind of bringing them down the sales funnel, because when people are searching for a new product or service, the very first thing that they're doing is going online and searching for just some basic information. And you need to be able to target your consumers and really show them that you have that information readily available. Additionally, the concept that Google's algorithms have changed that doesn't really make sense, because Google is a search engine. So their conversion, if you want to think about it in that way, is consumers click on the first that shows up when they do a search. So if content wasn't king, then what would they be searching out of? Would they be advertising? And a lot of people don't even want to click on that, just because they want to get just first and then look at promotions later.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In terms of frequency, it really depends on current trends and industry standards. So if a big event happened in your industry yesterday, you want to be talking about it yesterday or today, not 3 weeks down the line, because you want to show people that you're up on those trends. This is the newest and greatest thing, and this is why, and this is why you should purchase, or maybe it's the exact thing that consumer would be better off without the newest and greatest thing. So just depends on what frequency you can and do it consistently.
Mm-hmm.
also keeping in line with the latest events.
Yeah. And what you're saying is not really to be a mouthpiece to your target market and the importance of having a target market. We can touch on that, but doing it in a way that is based on keeping them up to date on what's happening and using the various tools that are out there. So that perfect segue into our second question, which is all about the various tools that are available to disseminate content. And with the advent of new technology and the advent of social media, we're finding people are finding content in various places. And certainly with new technology, not new, but with mobile devices and people using mobile devices so often to access content, we're talking about not just the desktop, but we're also talking about mobile devices as well, that people are reading your content. So is there a best tool to disseminate business content? And when would I want to use, say, a different tool to disseminate content? And so give us some ideas on that.
Yeah, so and like you said, there are a bunch of different tools to use. The first I would say is probably something like social media. It's becoming increasingly frequent for people to be visiting social media channels before they ever visit a website because they've seen the content first on social media through just the reach that it's been given through the networks.
Mm-hmm.
So then there are a bunch of different social media channels. Which one do you use? So it's really dependent, again, on the target market. And like you said, that's kind of a big thing. You need to have a target market because if you're targeting other businesses, maybe you want to focus on LinkedIn versus consumer side. You want to focus on Facebook and Twitter. So there's just so many different channels, but the main thing is to do them correctly. And again, be consistent with them. So pick one or two and really go full-fledged into those.
Mm-hmm.
And then different tools to use at different times, like when you have a new event in your company and you want to disseminate that information, you might do that through a press release as opposed to social media or just a simple blog. So
Mm-hmm.
as long as there's a strategy behind each tool, you use any and all of them.
Right. And we have both business to business and business to consumer clients. And one of our clients is actually showcased as in a case study on our website that you can read about. And so it's a shout out to Superior Tile and Stone. And so that would be one example, wouldn't it, Dina, of a company that is using content really effectively by carefully selecting the tools and the channels that they use to disseminate their content and get the word out about their portfolio, about the kind of projects that they're doing, which are pretty exciting projects. Think about it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we talked about these various tools that are available for people to use. So there's certainly press releases, blogs, FAQs. We didn't mention FAQs really, but certainly press releases, blogs, FAQs, social media and it kind of gets back to a little bit about what we're talking about. Is there one best tool to disseminate a business's content, would you say, or just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I really think there just needs to be a balanced strategic approach to how you get information out to consumers. And again, picking those channels and effectively using them, in a way that makes sense. So, if you really want to use Facebook and Twitter, great, but know that Twitter has to be posted on 10 times a day. And are you ready to put the manpower and resources into doing, that frequent of the posts? And then if you are, great, but then you're going to focus on those two specifically and then expand from there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think we're going to wrap up there with questions. If there's anything else that you want to add, Dina?
Yeah, that was great.
I'm going to just close with one tip, and that is something that we're really passionate about is that great content needs to be optimized. It needs to be optimized in the sense of carefully placing keywords in the content and in the title. And we do specialize in that. And that's very important, as well as what we were talking about earlier about having a target market. So you're targeting towards a predefined target market. And in some cases, that's going to actually be personas. That's going to be personas are essentially the people that you're marketing to. And they're going to be defined by perhaps age, their income, their education, where they live. Factors like that are going to make up a persona. So we strongly recommend having predefined personas and then pulling your audience in naturally from there. So you don't have to be pushy when it comes to utilizing the various mediums that we've been talking about that you can use to get your content out there. So I think we're going to close there. We will be back with more video blogs in the future. And we thank you for the time that you've spent today with us.